When a man truly misses you, he doesn't always announce it with big speeches or dramatic confessions. Often his feelings show up in the quiet things he does, the small, consistent actions that reveal what words sometimes can't. Understanding these signs is important because actions often reflect genuine emotions more clearly than promises. For many women, recognizing these silent signals can help them understand whether a man's feelings are sincere or simply temporary attention. The truth is, when a man genuinely values your presence in his life, his behavior naturally shifts in ways that show he feels your absence. One of the most noticeable things that happens when a man truly misses a woman is that he begins to find reasons to reach out, even when there is no real reason at all. The message may be simple, short, or even random, but the intention behind it carries more meaning than the words themselves. When someone is constantly on a man's mind, silence becomes difficult for him. He may not openly say, "I miss you," but his actions start revealing that your presence is still occupying his thoughts throughout the day. Many women sometimes overlook these small gestures because they appear ordinary. A simple, "How was your day?" or a message about something he saw online might not seem significant at first. But the truth is, people rarely reach out repeatedly to someone who is not important to them. Life is busy. Everyone has responsibilities, work, stress, and distractions. Yet when a man misses you, he naturally makes space in his day to connect with you, even if it's just for a moment. That small message becomes his way of staying close to you emotionally. Sometimes he might send you something that reminded him of you. Maybe it's a video, a quote, or a joke that made him think of a conversation you once had. That action may look casual, but emotionally it carries a deeper message. It shows that while he was going through his day, something triggered the thought of you, and instead of keeping it to himself, he wanted to share it with you. That sharing is his way of maintaining the connection that he feels with you. A man who misses you will often look for excuses to start conversations. He may ask questions he could easily figure out himself. He might ask your opinion about something small, like what movie to watch, what food he should try, or what you think about a certain topic. The real reason behind these questions is not the information he needs. The real reason is that he wants to hear from you. Your voice, your perspective, and your presence in the conversation give him a sense of closeness that he is missing. Another thing women should understand is that when a man misses someone, communication becomes spontaneous rather than calculated. When a person is not emotionally invested, they tend to communicate only when it is convenient or when they need something. But when a man truly misses you, reaching out becomes natural. He doesn't always sit and plan the perfect message. Instead, the thought of you simply appears in his mind, and his instinct is to contact you. There are moments during the day when people pause for a few seconds between tasks. Maybe it's during a coffee break while driving or while scrolling through their phone before sleeping. During those quiet moments, the mind often goes to the people who matter most. If you are someone he genuinely misses, those moments often lead him to your name in his phone. It might be a short message or even a reaction to something you posted, but it is his way of bridging the emotional distance he feels. It is also important for women to notice the consistency of these small efforts. Missing someone is not usually expressed through one grand action. Instead, it shows up in repeated small gestures. A message here, a check-in there, a quick comment, or a random thought shared with you. Over time, these small touches build a pattern that reveals how often you occupy his thoughts. Emotionally, when a man misses a woman, he is not only thinking about her presence, but also about how she makes him feel. Conversations with someone you care about can bring comfort, laughter, and a sense of connection that is hard to replace. When that feeling is absent, the mind naturally looks for ways to recreate it. Reaching out becomes one of the simplest ways to do that. Another subtle sign appears in the timing of his messages. Sometimes he reaches out during moments when people typically reflect on their day, such as late evenings or early mornings. These are the times when people are less distracted by the outside world and more connected to their emotions. When a man misses someone, those quiet hours often make the feeling stronger, and he may suddenly send a message just to reconnect. What many women should remember is that genuine effort does not always look dramatic. Society often portrays love and longing through big romantic gestures, but real emotional connection is often much quieter. It shows up in everyday actions, in small, consistent communication, and in the willingness to maintain contact even when there is no urgent reason to do so. However, it is also important to observe the intention behind the effort. When a man truly misses you, his communication usually carries warmth and genuine interest. He asks about your life, listens to your responses, and engages in the conversation rather than simply sending a message and disappearing. The conversation flows because he enjoys the connection, not just the act of sending a message. For many women, recognizing this sign can be empowering. Instead of focusing only on words, paying attention to patterns of behavior reveals much more about someone's feelings. Anyone can say the words, "I miss you," but consistent effort to stay connected often speaks louder than a single sentence ever could. In relationships, emotional presence matters deeply. When someone values you, they naturally want to maintain a connection with you. That desire often shows itself through communication, even in the smallest ways. A man who misses you will rarely stay completely silent for long because the connection he feels with you keeps pulling him back into conversation. At the heart of it all, reaching out is about emotional closeness. It is about keeping the bond alive even when you are not physically together. Those small messages, random thoughts, and simple check-ins become little reminders that you are still part of his daily life. And when those actions come from a sincere place, they reveal something powerful. That your presence matters enough for him to keep finding his way back to you again and again. When a man truly misses a woman, one of the most natural things he begins to do is bring up memories the two of you once shared. These memories may appear unexpectedly in conversations, sometimes in the middle of a normal discussion, or even during a quiet moment when he simply remembers something that made him smile. While it might sound like casual storytelling, the emotional meaning behind it is much deeper. Memories are closely tied to feelings, and when someone misses you, the mind often travels back to the moments when that connection felt strongest. For many men, expressing emotions directly can sometimes feel difficult. Instead of openly saying how much they miss someone, they often communicate their feelings through stories and recollections. When he reminds you of a moment you both experienced together, he is not just talking about the past. He is reliving the feeling that moment gave him. By sharing that memory with you again, he is trying to recreate the warmth and closeness that existed during that time. Sometimes the memory he mentions might seem small or even insignificant. It could be a joke you both laughed at, a silly moment during a conversation, or a time when something unexpected happened while you were together. Yet the fact that he remembers it and brings it up again reveals that the experience meant more to him than you might have realized. When a man misses someone, his mind naturally holds onto the moments that made him feel comfortable, happy, or understood. Memories also serve as emotional anchors. When someone is absent, the mind searches for ways to reconnect with the feeling of their presence. Thinking about shared experiences becomes a way to fill that emotional gap. By mentioning those memories in conversation, he is inviting you back into that moment with him. In a way, he is saying, "That time we shared meant something to me, and I'm still thinking about it." Another important detail women often notice is the way a man talks about those memories. When someone truly misses you, the tone of the story carries emotion. He may laugh while remembering something funny, or his voice may soften when talking about a meaningful moment. That emotional reaction shows that the memory is not just information stored in his mind. It is something he still feels. Shared memories also represent connection. Every relationship builds its own collection of experiences that only the two people involved truly understand. These moments create a sense of belonging between two individuals. When a man brings up those moments again, it shows that he values the bond that was formed through those experiences. He is reminding both himself and you of the connection that exists between you. Sometimes a man might mention a place you both visited together. Maybe it's a cafe, a park, a restaurant, or even a random street you once walked down while talking about life. If he says something like, "I passed by that place we went to," or "I heard that song we listened to that day," it reveals something important. Certain things in the world now remind him of you. Those places, songs, or situations have become linked to the time you spent together. The mind naturally creates these associations when someone leaves a meaningful impact. When he sees something connected to a memory with you, the thought of you appears almost automatically. Mentioning that memory is his way of acknowledging that the experience still lives in his mind. There are also times when a man recalls a memory during a moment when you might not expect it. For For example, during a normal conversation, he might suddenly say, "Remember when you said something that made me laugh so hard?" That kind of spontaneous memory shows that the thought surfaced naturally. It was not planned or forced. It simply appeared because you crossed his mind again. Another emotional layer behind shared memories is appreciation. When someone misses you, they often begin to appreciate the moments they had with you even more. Sometimes people only realize the true value of certain experiences after some time has passed. By revisiting those memories, he is recognizing that those moments had meaning in his life. For women, hearing a man talk about the past can sometimes raise questions. Is he simply reminiscing, or does it mean something deeper? The key difference often lies in how frequently those memories appear and how emotionally present he is when talking about them. When someone repeatedly brings up moments you shared, it usually means those experiences still hold emotional weight for him. It is also worth noticing whether he remembers details that many people might forget. Perhaps he remembers something you said months ago, a small habit you have, or the way you reacted to something funny. Those details show that he was paying attention in ways that go beyond casual interaction. People tend to remember details about the individuals who truly matter to them. Sometimes revisiting memories can also be his way of reconnecting emotionally. Life moves quickly, and people often become busy with responsibilities and daily routines. Yet when someone misses you, thinking about the past can bring back the emotional energy that existed between you. Talking about those memories becomes a bridge that reconnects the present moment with the connection you once shared. Another powerful aspect of shared memories is that they belong only to the two of you. No one else experienced that exact moment in the same way. That exclusivity makes the memory special. When he mentions it again, he is inviting you to revisit something that only the two of you truly understand. At times, a man may not even realize how often he refers to those memories. For him, it simply feels natural because those experiences are part of how he remembers the relationship. But from the outside, it becomes clear that those moments still occupy a place in his thoughts. Women should understand that when someone keeps bringing up shared experiences, it often means those moments left a lasting impression. Memories are not stored randomly in the mind. The ones that stay vivid usually carry emotional significance. When a man misses someone, those memories tend to surface again and again because they represent a time when he felt connected, understood, and emotionally present. In many ways, memories become little emotional time capsules. They hold the laughter, conversations, and feelings that were shared during those moments. By bringing them up in conversation, a man is opening that time capsule again. He is revisiting the feeling that existed between you and allowing you to step back into that moment with him. Ultimately, when a man frequently recalls memories you shared, it shows that your presence left a mark on his life. Those experiences are not simply events that happened and disappeared. They became part of how he remembers the connection between you. And when someone truly misses you, those memories become one of the strongest ways the heart keeps reminding them of what you once meant and perhaps still mean to them. When a man truly misses a woman, one subtle yet powerful change often appears in the way he pays attention to her. His level of attentiveness begins to grow in ways that may seem small on the surface but carry deep emotional meaning. Missing someone has a unique way of making a person more aware of their value. When someone's presence is no longer constant, the mind begins to recognize how important that person actually is. Because of that realization, a man who misses you often becomes more attentive whenever he has the opportunity to connect with you again. Attention is one of the most honest forms of emotional investment. In everyday life, people are surrounded by distractions, work responsibilities, social obligations, personal worries, and endless notifications from technology. Yet when someone truly matters to a person, they naturally receive a different kind of focus. When a man misses you, the moments he gets to interact with you suddenly become more meaningful, and he begins to give those moments his full attention. You might notice that he listens more carefully when you speak. Instead of giving short responses or distracted replies, he engages with what you say. He remembers details from your stories and sometimes refers back to them later. That level of attention shows that your words are not simply passing through his ears. They are staying in his mind because he genuinely cares about what you share. Sometimes this attentiveness appears in the way he asks questions. A man who misses you often wants to know more about how you are doing, what you have been experiencing, and what has been on your mind. These questions are not always dramatic or deeply emotional. They might sound simple, such as asking how your day went or what you did over the weekend. But behind those questions is a genuine curiosity about your life. He wants to feel connected to your world, even if he is not physically present in it. Another sign of increased attentiveness is how quickly he notices changes in your mood. When someone misses you and values your presence, they become more sensitive to your emotional state. He might notice if your voice sounds different, if your energy feels lower than usual, or if something seems to be bothering you. That awareness comes from paying close attention to how you normally behave and recognizing when something feels different. For many women, this kind of attentiveness can feel deeply meaningful because it shows emotional presence. It means that he is not just talking to you out of habit or convenience. He is actually observing, listening, and responding to who you are in that moment. Missing someone often heightens emotional awareness, and that awareness can make a man more thoughtful in the way he interacts with you. You may also notice that he remembers small things about you that you may have mentioned casually in the past. Perhaps you once talked about a stressful situation at work, a goal you were trying to achieve, or something you were excited about. When he brings those topics up again later, it shows that he was paying attention even when you might not have expected it. Remembering those details is a sign that your words and experiences matter to him. Another way attentiveness appears is through concern for your well-being. When a man misses someone, he often becomes more protective of their emotional comfort. He may ask whether you are taking care of yourself, whether you have eaten, or whether everything is going well in your life. These gestures might seem simple, but they reflect a deeper emotional investment. He wants to make sure that you are okay because your happiness and stability matter to him. Attentiveness also shows itself in the way he responds to your feelings. If you share something important, he takes the time to acknowledge it rather than brushing it aside. He may offer encouragement, understanding, or support. Even if he does not always have the perfect advice, his willingness to listen and respond thoughtfully shows that he values your emotions. Sometimes women assume that men express emotions only through big romantic actions, but emotional care is often revealed through attention. A man who truly misses you tends to focus on the little things that make you who you are. The way you speak, the topics you care about, the small habits you have, these details become important to him because they are part of what he misses. Another interesting change is how present he becomes during conversations. When someone is not emotionally invested, they often multitask while communicating. They might be scrolling through their phone, watching something else, or giving half-hearted responses. But when a man misses you, he tends to give you his full presence when you are interacting. The conversation becomes something he values rather than something he is simply passing time with. This attentiveness can also appear in the way he responds to your achievements or challenges. If something good happens in your life, he celebrates it with you. If you are facing difficulties, he shows concern and empathy. Those reactions demonstrate that he sees your experiences as important, not just as background information. Over time, women may begin to notice a pattern in this behavior. It is not a one-time moment of attention, but a consistent effort to understand and connect with you. That consistency often reveals the depth of someone's feelings more clearly than words ever could. Missing someone has a powerful effect on how people value their interactions. When a person realizes that they do not get to see or talk to someone as often as they would like, every moment of connection becomes more meaningful. As a result, they naturally invest more attention and emotional energy into those moments. For women, recognizing this type of attentiveness can provide clarity about a man's feelings. Anyone can say kind words or make temporary promises, but genuine attention requires emotional presence. It means he is mentally and emotionally involved in the interaction, not just physically present in the conversation. Ultimately, when a man misses you, he begins to notice you more deeply. Your words, your feelings, and even your small daily experiences become meaningful to him. That attentiveness is not something that can easily be forced or faked. It grows naturally from the emotional space you occupy in his life. In many ways, attention is a quiet form of care. It is the willingness to focus on someone, to listen with intention, and to respond with understanding. When a man misses a woman, that care often reveals itself through the way he pays attention to her, showing through his actions that her presence in his life is something he truly values. One of the clearest signs that a man truly misses a woman is the effort he makes to see her. Effort is one of the most honest expressions of genuine feelings because it requires time, energy, and intention. Words can be spoken easily, but effort requires action. When someone misses you deeply, the desire to be around you becomes stronger than the obstacles that might stand in the way. Instead of simply thinking about you, he begins looking for ways to close the distance between you. When a man values your presence, spending time with you becomes something he actively tries to create rather than something that only happens by chance. You might notice him suggesting plans, asking when you are free, or trying to coordinate schedules so the two of you can meet. These actions may seem simple, but they reveal a deeper truth. Being around you matters enough for him to organize his time around that possibility. Life often presents people with busy schedules and responsibilities. Work demands attention, family commitments require energy, and personal obligations can fill up most of the day. Yet when a man truly misses someone, he does not allow busyness to completely replace the connection. Instead, he searches for small windows of time where he can see you, talk to you, or share moments together. Even if the time available is limited, the willingness to make that effort shows the importance he places on your presence. Sometimes effort appears in the form of planning ahead. A man who misses you may start thinking about future opportunities to spend time together. He might mention an event, a place he would like to visit with you, or something he believes you would enjoy doing together. By bringing up these ideas, he is not only expressing a desire to see you, but also imagining shared experiences that keep the connection alive. Another meaningful aspect of effort is flexibility. When someone genuinely wants to spend time with you, they are often willing to adjust their schedule to make it happen. This does not mean they abandon their responsibilities, but it does mean they are willing to move things around when possible. Perhaps he shifts his plans slightly, stays up a little later to talk, or travels a bit farther than usual just to see you. These adjustments show that your presence holds enough value for him to make room for you in his life. Distance, whether physical or emotional, often highlights how much someone truly cares. When two people are not able to see each other as often as they would like, the effort to reconnect becomes even more meaningful. A man who misses you may suggest meeting halfway, visiting when he has the chance, or finding creative ways to spend time together even if circumstances are not ideal. The willingness to overcome inconvenience reveals the strength of his desire to maintain the connection. Effort also shows itself through consistency. Anyone can make a one-time gesture, but genuine feelings tend to appear through repeated actions over time. When a man truly misses you, the desire to see you does not disappear after one meeting. Instead, it continues to appear again and again because being around you fulfills an emotional need that he values. For many women, effort becomes one of the most reliable indicators of how someone truly feels. Words may be affectionate and promises may sound convincing, but consistent effort often reveals the reality behind those words. When someone repeatedly chooses to invest their time in seeing you, it demonstrates that your presence brings something meaningful into their life. Another subtle sign of effort is the way a man behaves when you are together. When someone has been missing you, the moments you share often carry a sense of appreciation. He may seem more engaged in the conversation, more interested in what you are saying, and more present in the moment. That appreciation comes from the feeling of finally reconnecting with someone whose absence he has felt. It is also common for a man who misses you to look for opportunities to extend the time you spend together. Maybe the meeting starts with a simple plan, but he suggests grabbing a meal afterward or continuing the conversation somewhere else. These small extensions of time reveal that he enjoys your presence and is not in a hurry to end the moment. Effort can also appear in thoughtful gestures related to spending time together. Perhaps he remembers something you once mentioned wanting to do and suggests it as an activity. Maybe he chooses a place that he knows you like or plans something that reflects your interests. These thoughtful decisions show that he has been paying attention to what makes you happy and wants to create experiences that you will enjoy. For women, recognizing effort can help bring clarity to emotional situations. Sometimes feelings can be confusing when words and actions do not match. But when someone consistently makes time to see you, adjusts their schedule to include you, and shows enthusiasm about spending time together, they are showing you that they value your relationship and are willing to make time for you. Those behaviors often speak louder than any statement. Missing someone naturally creates a desire for closeness. Human connections thrive on shared experiences, conversations, and moments of presence. When those things are absent, the heart often looks for ways to restore them. Effort becomes the bridge that reconnects two people who value each other's company. Another important element to remember is that genuine effort does not usually feel forced. When a man truly misses you, making time to see you often feels natural to him. It is not something he does out of obligation or pressure. Instead, it comes from a sincere desire to reconnect with someone who brings meaning and joy into his life. Over time, these repeated efforts build a pattern that becomes difficult to ignore. The invitations to meet, the adjustments in his schedule, the thoughtful plans, and the genuine enjoyment of your presence all combine to reveal how much he values the connection. Ultimately, when a man misses you, he does more than simply think about you. He moves toward you. His actions show that being around you is something he wants, not just something he talks about. Effort becomes the quiet language through which his feelings are expressed, demonstrating that your presence in his life is not only remembered but actively desired. In relationships, effort is often the clearest form of sincerity. When someone consistently chooses to invest their time and energy in seeing you, it reflects the value they place on the connection. And when that effort is driven by the feeling of missing you, it becomes a powerful reminder that your presence holds a meaningful place in his heart and in his life.